What's up, y'all? I'm Eric from Eric Christopher Art, and I'm out here. Wait a second, I'm not the host.
What's up, guys? It's Kay McCutcheon, your host of TheAgSpace, and today I'm at Eric Christopher Art, and today I get to interview the man, the myth, the legend himself, Eric Christopher. And I think he's about to be ready for us inside, so let's get to it. What's up, Eric? So I think the best place we should start is probably you and your company. So why don't you tell us a bit about that?
What would you like to know?
Let's know about you and your company.
All right. I started this company by seeing the fact that there was all kinds of trees being taken down around the Bay Area, and I was tired of seeing them go to waste. I had a lot of friends that were removing these trees, and we wanted to repurpose them. So we started by slabbing them up and offering them to the community to make all kinds of different uh, creations that they wish to make.
Dude, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
About myself, I've always been interested in creating, and that's how this whole thing started, was by wanting to create with recycled material. I'm passionate about um, our environment and about creating with things that aren't detrimental to our society, and recycling these logs has given us a pretty good opportunity to get the community involved with um, big portions of what could go to waste, and also could be carbon that is emitted into the atmosphere through decaying. So um, about myself, I'm interested in creating and interested in providing the community with sustainable goods.
Sweet. So why don't you tell us about your process of getting the slabs ready to sell?
So it all starts with the unfortunate side, which is the tree coming down. Most of these are coming down because they're either falling on houses, lifting foundations, a lot of things like that. Usually, most common is lifting the foundation or going through power lines. So it starts with the tree being removed. Hopefully, we're involved in a bunch of that so we could film it and get the story of the tree. The tree is felled. Then my friends and I go in and we salvage the logs, which oftentimes is the hardest part, is getting the logs onto the trailer to get them out of there, because as you can see, a lot of these are really big and really heavy. So once we get the logs, we start inspecting them for different problems like metal inside them. We use a metal detector and see if there's any metal. If there is, we try and pull stuff out that we can, and then we start milling them up. Then we stack and sticker, which is the spacers that you see in between to get airflow. And then we dry the slabs and eventually offer them for sale.
Sweet. When did you start your company?
I started doing this about 9 years ago, but really it became a full-time, my full-time 365 days, basically a year, 24/7. It feels like, for about the past 4.5 years. So it's been something that's very gratifying, but a lot of work very hard today, and um, invest a lot of time, energy, effort, and knowledge and passion and heart into it, and hope to see some money at the end of it. It's not a get rich quick thing. It's very slow going kind of a process. I tell people it would be similar, I guess, if you're making whiskey. Um, to have a 5-year aged whiskey or something like that, you got to start today, and in 5 years you'll have something to sell. And this is something very similar to that, because there's a gap in between the time of when you mill it and when you can actually use the material.
So how were you able to grow your company from the start? Like what techniques did you use?
Um, Number one is advertising, um, and being consistent with that. I have a lot of people that have came to me and bought slabs and said, I watched you for 3 years, always having these ads up. Every time I'd be on all these different platforms, I'd see you, and I never had a use for it. But then when I finally did, I knew exactly where to go to. And that's a big part of it, is advertising. I tell people this is a 25% wood business, but a 75% advertising business. If people didn't know that I had the wood for sale, then I would already be bankrupt and would be out of business because um, bills got to get paid and people got to get paid. And um, most of that is through advertising and finding the people that are interested in this. So, really being on it on advertising all the time and then just showing up. Um, I'm always at my shop and I've gotten to where I'm at a lot of it because of always being there, always being ready. If you want to ride a wave on a surfboard, you're never going to ride the wave if you're not by the waves. You're not on the beach. So, same thing with this, never going to sell a slab if you're not there to sell it to somebody. And I think that that goes with a lot of businesses. A lot of times people want to um, want to work minimal hours and want to put in the least amount of effort. But if you want to do anything for yourself, there has to be a lot of discipline. So hard sometimes getting up and just being accountable for yourself on the days that are hard. You might have worked really hard and late the night before, and then the next day it's starts all over again and got to get out of bed. There's no one there to tell you that you have to, but if you want to make something of it, then you definitely have to. So I'd say advertising and being on it. Just never. I'm never not doing this. People say, "How do you find the logs? How do you this?" Because I'm always looking. I'm never not looking.
So you think social media is probably your biggest way of publicizing these actions?
So social media for this business, it's a blessing and a curse. It's a double-edged sword kind of. The blessing is that people find out about you. The curse is that the way that algorithms work a lot these days, especially geared towards business, they don't want to let your product shine for free. You have to pay, and there's a lot of learning curve with that. I run different ads on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and they've been very successful, but it's cost me money and time to figure that out. So it's very easy to let your budget get wasted, not running the proper metrics and being on it, always looking at the data. I run a lot of insights, which shows you all the back end analytics. So social media has been definitely um, a huge blessing for my business, but it's also um, a big time investment, monetary investment, as well as time figuring it all out. It's can make you get frustrated really fast when you're seeing the dollars go down, but the people not show up. I don't really care about likes and stuff, but I do in regards to if it can help someone find out about my business. If they're liking it and they're in Ohio and I don't ship, doesn't really mean much to me because I'm not. It's not going to make a sale. It's just going to reduce my advertising budget that's available. So there's a lot of things with social media that most of them are positive. Very very few negatives, I would say.
So how would you say your company has impacted the ag industry?
I would say that my company has impacted the ag industry um, through several ways. The main one is that I make connections with fellow arborists and colleagues that are in the industry. And instead of this beautiful material going into a landfill, and one, being in the landfill, and two, uh, off gassing carbon from it decomposing, it's affecting it in the fact that people are aware more of our natural resources and they get to witness them, and um, for generations to come they can see that. It's also affected it in the sense of having less carbon um, that's off gassing, which is a positive for us, and it's impacted it through um, awareness of the potential of what this material could do. This could go in the landfill, or we could have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, let's say 10 families that could have an heirloom that 1,000 people could enjoy for the next 100 years versus this going and decomposing and going to waste. So the main thing I would say is that it's affected it through less waste and more people benefiting instead of it becoming a waste. So I'd say that would be the main effect.
Yeah. So, how many jobs would you say your company has created inside and outside your company?
Um, a lot of it might not be job creation, but it I would say it does create a job, but maybe not in the sense that you're thinking of it as it creates a job for people to create the heirloom that they want. And through that, they end up many find out a lot more about our natural resources that they prior to making these projects they didn't have. So the job might not be a job like per se that every someone showing up to every day, but the job that this creates for someone to make ends up bringing them a lot closer to agriculture, to our community, and to the natural resources. Because many don't think about certain things like how this branch comes out, how this is going to look into a slab, but then once they see how that is, they kind of connects and they could see that it's growing. It's not just like a board. Um, so
How many employees do you have at your company?
Um, I, my company is just me that is there every day, but I don't employ people. I have people that we work together. So it's a mutually beneficial thing. People that from the outside, it may seem like they work for me, but they don't work for me. We work with each other to mutually have something beneficial, which a lot of it is people that want to help me recycle these logs. They have roles of helping me get these things onto the trailer and things like that. But it's just me.
It's just you. How does the ag community impact your industry, your company? How does it change it
So
in a sense?
mainly, the ag industry impacts me through um, birds of a feather flock together. There's a lot of people that are in ag that maybe are in something that are completely different than me. Maybe they're into cattle ranching, which is something completely different than I am into. But ag industry people tend to look out for each other, and that's what I noticed with this. Is if I know of a way that I could benefit a cattle rancher that I know, I'm going to tell them something of benefit. Like same thing with them. A lot of times they give me leads on people that they know that are removing trees or space to store things at. So it's kind of like I would say the ag industry is almost like a brotherhood of people that have like-minded thoughts and values, which is hard work, um, honesty, delayed gratification, um, those kinds of traditional values that not not every industry shares.
So, what would you say is your biggest challenge with starting your business?
The biggest challenge with starting my business was finding the real estate to be able to start. Having shop space and having yard space is the main thing to be able to start. And I didn't have that. So finding that took me a long time. I was constantly on the computer, always looking at spots that came up and being able to happen to jump on them quickly was the hardest point because I was also employed at the time. So I would leave my job, go look at shop space, and finding that was very, very difficult. But I once I found that, the next problem was having more space. So it's always kind of been space has been the hardest part.
Would you say that challenge has changed since then?
Not really. It just gotten bigger. The problem is became bigger because now not only do I need to find more space constantly, I also have to be able to house the pieces that I have currently. So that's something that's very emotionally taxing and is constantly on my mind about having this obligation. It becomes very heavy.
Would you say has helped you since the start, and even now? Like, who would you say has helped you the biggest?
Mainly my friends helping me move these slabs around. There's been a lot of people that have helped me move these slabs. My friend German, my friend Ronald, my friend Tyler, my friend Leo. They've been there for me a lot. It takes a special kind of friend that will drop everything they're doing to come help you lift something heavy. And not just once, not twice, but hundreds of times. So I'm eternally grateful for my friends' help, and I think that I try and be a good friend, and that's helped me a lot because I'm there for people when they need me, and vice versa.
So, where do you say is like the biggest spot that you get your slabs, or would you say it pretty drastically?
So most of it is from arborists that I know, and networking connections, friends of friends, and people that understand what I'm trying to do. There's a lot of people out there that would rather it go to someone like me that wants to repurpose it and offer it to the community rather than it go and be chipped up. So we go all around the surrounding Bay Area um, and salvage these logs. Um, we salvage mainly redwood, but we also go after pretty much every other species except oak, pine, and eucalyptus because they're unstable and the bugs like to go to them. But everything else from walnut, cedar, cypress, black acacia, elm, sycamore, cottonwood, willow, um, a lot of different species that we go after. But like I said, mostly redwood.
So, where is the farthest you've seen somebody come to get your slabs?
The furthest I'd see someone come from, I would say, is Utah, Idaho, Arizona, Colorado, states that are fairly close, but still a good bit of a drive for someone to hop in their truck and come get a slab. I've also shipped quite a few across the country to Massachusetts, Maine, and New York, places like that.
So, what's the coolest project you've seen somebody do with your slabs?
The coolest project I can't really put into one because there's so many different cool, unique things that people always surprise me with. Um, but I would say the coolest part is seeing the people transform because many people don't have the confidence. They've never done this before. They're very anxious. They're almost sometimes to the point of tears. But once they realize that it's not going to jump up and bite them, that they just have to continue sanding or continue on with the process, trust the process, then seeing them transform and get the confidence. And there's been times when people don't want to even get the first slab because they don't think they can do it, but they end up doing that one and they end up coming and getting 10 to 15 more over the years. So that's what's really special and that's cool. The projects are all so unique. They all have something cool, but it's pretty interesting to watch the people grow.
So, how would you say your log and tree knowledge has improved since you started?
So I would say the biggest thing right off the bat is being able to identify different trees. Um, through the bark and through the grain and things of that nature because I get a lot of calls. The people might not know nothing about the tree. They just know they have it. It's tipped over in their yard and they need it gone. So um, I've learned a lot about identifying the trees because it's very easy to go spend a lot of time driving to these places with trucks, trailers, skid steers, all the stuff to load these logs and then get there and it being something that I don't want like a oak, pine, or a eucalyptus. So I'd say identifying the trees has been something that I've learned a lot about.
What would you say is no? What is some advice you would give people trying to start a business in the ag industry?
So I would say if you're going to start a business in the ag industry, you better be dedicated. You better be sure of what you're doing because there's going to be a lot of days that are going to test you and make you want to give up. And those are the days that you have to be able to remind yourself why you're doing this. Anything ag is generally going to be hard work. It's going to be physical and it's going to be work hard today and hope to see a few bucks down the road later. So it's know what you're in it for. Have your heart set on it because um, there's this isn't an instant gratification kind of a thing. Nothing in ag generally is. It's usually work hard and um, have traditional values. Be honest, be ready to work, and be accountable. And I would say those are the main piece of advice I could give is be honest, be accountable, and know what you're in it for.
All right. Well, I think that's all the questions I have for you. So thanks, Eric.
All right.
Today we got to interview the man, the myth, the slab expert, entrepreneur, Eric Christopher. And I think it went pretty well. He shared his words of wisdom in the ag industry. And that's actually all I got to say. I'll see you guys next time.